I call it the soulless blob 3D abstract blob transform thing. First things first, we take our cube. We're going to subdivide it a bunch of times. So I did Control 5. We have 5 layers of subdivision. We're probably going to want more. So what we can do is we can apply this. We go this, apply, preview the geometry. Let's add another one. That way it's really dense. Then we're gonna go into the shader workspace. Now to do this, it's really easy. It's literally just displacement. And to have clean displacements, we actually need to be in cycles. We go to cycles, GPU compute, make sure you're on your graphics card, on, turn on denoise. And we're gonna use GPU for both. And we're looking good. And then I'm gonna probably do limited steps. So I'll say like 5 steps in viewport. And in the render, let's do like 100. Nice. And so here we're looking, we have it. And now we can see everything. We're gonna be doing a displacement modifier. So we're gonna do a vector displacement right here. And that's what we're gonna put into the height value to change everything. So looking at this, an easy way of first starting with this is thinking about the different textures to kind of make that displacement modifier. That's kind of where all of the magic is going to happen. So we're going to go here. We're going to do Shift A. We're going to search a wave texture. We have this node. We're going to Control Shift click to preview it. And we're seeing this going across up and down along the X-axis. Let's make it way less. Maybe we can make it like 1, maybe even less than this, maybe like 0.25. If we have the phase offset, it can move 1 over time, as we're seeing right here. Let's pipe this color data into the height here and put it into the displacement and see what happens. Nothing's happening. We go to material properties and we're gonna go to settings, displacement, and bump. Great. Now it's also displacing as it's going through. So we can change the mid-level and say it's going to be 0. I'll make it bigger so it stays the same. And the scale will change the overall amount of displacement. But I think before we put it in, let's change the scale before it goes in. Let's do a math node. And let's say multiply by 0.5. That way it's having the overall displacement. If we move this over time, we're seeing a very large displacement here. The phase offset can be animated over time. So if we do a scene time, I don't think we can do that actually in geometry node. So if we do a value node, we do hash frame, push space, it's gonna have this go through, It's gonna have this go through depending on how many frames we have. It's a driver to that value, so we kind of made that scene time node here. Doing dope sheet, and then I guess we're gonna do timeline. Fantastic. Start at 0. I like to do 3-second animation, so we're gonna go to 180. Actually, I'll probably just do 2 seconds. So let's go to 120. And then I like to do 60 FPS. Set it here. And then if you watch it, it'll go up to 120 and revert back. Okay, so if we put this into a math node, we do a divide, we take this by 120, which is the total number of frames, we put it in a float curve, we put this into the phase offset, and then multiply this, another math node, by 2 pi or tau, we're gonna have this go over time, and it will go through 1 phase of the wavelength. Great. Now this can drive most of the animation for us, so it can be all done procedurally off of this. So then the main thing is just layering on different things into the displacement and seeing what happens. So we have the wavelength. Maybe we're gonna add a Voronoi texture. How does that one look? It's looking like these little cells are going all around. So if we increase the scale, it gets more of them. So let's maybe decrease the scale. And maybe what we can do is we can do a distance to edge. Now we get these little cracks and this nice gradient. That's gonna look really nice together. So if you were to multiply this in, like so, what are we getting? We're getting, and turn off the color. We're getting kind of this little craggly look, kind of pulsating over time. That's pretty cool. Maybe what we can do is decrease the scale a bit more, down to 2, which is these bigger kind of crags. And then what we can do is we can also think about some different noises and different things of driving it. So maybe what we want to have too is we want to have like a ring going in a different direction, right? So we have this as the faves offset. So if we do Control Shift D and say Y and look at this, now we're seeing these rings go rather than this way, other way, maybe on Z when it go up and down. Here we are. Maybe increase this to 0.5. Then we can do this. And we can just mask this puppy in too. Go like that. It's all clicked in. How is that looking? Maybe it's not enough, or it's too much. The bands are probably too wide. So if we add a color ramp, we can then make it a bit tighter. So how is this looking? So remember, white is 1, black is 0. So if we really tighten it up, like so, maybe like this. How is that going to look now? It's only part of it is getting masked. So now we're kind of getting this little pulsing ring. But maybe we want to have this happen inverted, so most of it's done and it has this little mask unshifting it like that. How is this looking? We can increase the scale again and see how this looks. And maybe what we want is on these rings, maybe we don't even want to multiply. Maybe we just want to add here actually. Let's see what happens. So now we have the same effect. You don't want to mask it, maybe. Maybe we want this to still be the same. Have it masked together. Maybe we want this to be a bit stronger. How is this looking now? We put this to multiply. And we're now having part of it kind of cutting together and making this little mask across. Essentially, all we're doing is just making these masks to kind of set it all together. That's all I'm really doing is just building different masks to make the effects work. And then the cool thing is we can then split the shaders to have different things depending on how we want it to look. So we have this nice mask, which is moving through and looking like a pretty cool thing. We can then use this mask to also derive 2 different shaders. So we can do principled. You can just take the shader here, Shift D, then mix shader, and pop them in. And then this value will be the factor mix. And let's just look at it right now with red and white. And then let's do a color ramp. Just make it really crunchy. And then we're seeing that look much closer. We can do a map range afterwards to really crunch it in. I think we do, there we go. Really pull that line up. It's looking pretty good. It's clamped. We have that masked, and then we now have the 2 textures going through. And then we can then use this again if we want to kind of get some shading on it. So this will go here. And then we can have kind of 2 different shaders. Maybe here we can have this be transmission. And then we can have this one be some subsurface. And this can be also going here with a color ramp. And I can look at it like this. And we can see right here. Let's just change the colors up. A red maybe, or pink. This can come in. And if you turn on the subsurface and increase the scale, you can get kind of this more like organic looking shape. It's organic looking texture. Nice. Do a test render, see how it's looking. Happy with it. And the roughness should be for the shiny for the glass material. And this is basically the main effect. You play around with it until you get something that you like, and it can be as complex as you want or as simple as you want. The main trick is the masking itself. Hope you guys learned something, and thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.
Augury.